on? Look at your messages a minute, would you? Why aren't you answering me? You always have your phone next to you. Don't ignore me. Read your messages.
Sorry, Jasmine. I don't really understand why you're messaging me anyway, really, but I'm really busy at the moment, you know. I don't have time to chat with you right now.
You're pretending to be busy again, are you? You're pretending that you're busy so that you don't have to chat with me.
No, I really am busy. What did you want anyway? I don't really have anything to say to you, if I'm honest.
I saw you again, you know. I saw you in a bar with a guy the other day. I honestly don't know how you do it.
I see you still like to contact people out of the blue for no reason then. You obviously have no reason to talk to me and you just want to wind me up again as usual. If you don't have anything in particular that you want to say, can you leave me alone, please? As I've said before, I'm really busy and don't have time to chat to you like this.
You seem really good at chasing men, you know.
Look who's talking. How can you say that about me? If we're talking about chasing men, you're the expert, surely. You've done it your whole life. You're the one who chased your friend's husband and split up their whole family after all, aren't you? What are you going on about? What gives you the right to tell me that I'm always chasing men?
Are you still upset about all of that? You're still mad at me for taking Dan from you all those years ago, aren't you? You've even got remarried. Do you still have a soft spot for Dan or something? I wonder what your new husband would have to say about that.
Remarried? How did you know that? Are you spying on me or something? I'd rather you just stayed out of my life, if I'm honest.
Dan told me that you'd got remarried, but I didn't believe him. Who would want to marry someone like you, after all? It must be true, though.
Dan told you, did he? Oh, never mind. What does it matter to you if I've got remarried anyway?
Of course it matters. Why wouldn't it? We're friends. I can't believe you didn't tell me yourself, really. To be honest, I felt really bad about what happened for a long time now, you know? You getting dumped by Dan and everything. I'm really pleased that you've got remarried, though. Congratulations!
Congratulations? What gives you the right to congratulate me? You had an affair and stole my husband from me. I can't believe you have the nerve to say that to me. How dare you after all that you've done? Did you have an affair with your friend's husband because you couldn't find anyone else to do it with? There are men everywhere. You could have chosen anyone you wanted, but you decided to choose mine and destroy my life. Then you have the nerve to say congratulations to me.
If someone tells you something from the heart like I just did, you should be able to accept that. If someone says congratulations to you, surely you should say thank you, not go off on one like you just did. You're so headstrong. It's the real problem. You need to learn to be nicer and kinder. I guess that's why Dan came to me in the first place, wasn't it? He was bored of you doing what you wanted and not caring about other people's feelings. He was my friend before he ever became your husband, you know. We've known each other for years. We met in high school, after all. You know that. And I never stole him from you, as you keep putting it, either. He came to me of his own accord. He came to me because he had had enough of living with you and your lack of emotion. He wanted fun and excitement and love, you see.
Jasmine, I've tried to put up with all the rubbish you keep saying to me, but I can't take it any longer. I don't see why you keep trying to make me angry like this on purpose. What exactly do you have to gain from this? I'm warning you. It'd be in your best interests to leave me alone and stop winding me up. Or just never speak to me again, even. You'll regret it if you don't. You mark my words.
You're warning me? Surely you're the one that's in the wrong here. Does your new husband know that you still have feelings for your ex like this? What would he say if he knew what an interest you still have in him and his life?
Don't start on my family again. Just leave us alone, will you? I won't tell you again.
Why? Are you scared that I'll tell your new husband or something? I guess it'd be really bad for you if you got ditched again by the man you somehow convinced to marry you, wouldn't it?
You said that Dan told you that I'd got remarried, didn't you? Did Dan say anything else to you by any chance?
What do you mean? We talk all the time. He tells me everything. I don't really understand what you're asking. Why do you suddenly want to talk about Dan again anyway? I'm right, aren't I? You do still have feelings for him.
Aren't you curious about how Dan knew that I'd got remarried?
Oh, well, I hadn't really thought about it, to tell you the truth. It wouldn't be difficult for him to find out, would it? I guess he heard it from one of his clubs or something. Do you think that you getting married again is like some national secret or something?
Oh, really? Does he even still go to those? I sure wouldn't if I was him. I would be ashamed to show my face. Everyone in all of his clubs know that he got kicked out and made penniless for having an affair with you. Do you think he could still go to those clubs now?
Are you sure you're right about all of that? How would you know anyway? You're just trying to pay me back for winding you up just before, aren't you? Did you know that Dan has opened his own restaurant? He's doing really well for himself these days, you know.
I don't care, to be honest.
It's not that you don't care. You're jealous, aren't you? He's doing well and you don't get any benefit from it because he dumped you for me. It's not just any old restaurant either. You've heard of the restaurant called The Crossing, haven't you? Do you know how difficult it is to be able to open a branch of a chain like that? Dan managed to do it.
Is that really such a hard thing to do? He did really well.
You don't have to be like that. If you're jealous, you should just say so. To open a chain like that, you have to… Never mind. You wouldn't even be able to pass the document stage anyway.
Me? Why do you say that? Why don't you think I could do it?
I told you, didn't I? It's difficult.
If it's that difficult, how did Dan manage it?
He's my man, isn't he? He's so smart and he can do anything he puts his mind to. That's how. My hobby these days is counting all my money, you know. Do you realize how much money our shop makes?
Congratulations. I hope that the two of you will live very happy lives together. I'd appreciate it if you didn't contact me again. I have warned you.
There will never be a reason for Dan and I to break up, you know. I know you must be together because you're similar, but I feel really sorry for the man you married. I really do. If you ever want to open a branch of our chain, you can ask me anytime. Make sure to call me your boss, though.
Hey, Dan! You didn't tell Jasmine the truth about your restaurant or anything for that matter, did you? What on earth did you say to her to make her start teasing me like that? She was being totally unreasonable. Pardon? I didn't say anything to Jasmine. What do you mean? Oh, Jasmine messaged you again, did she? She didn't just message me, you know. She was babbling on like anything. She was going on about how good the two of you were and how well you were doing and that she knew that I must be really jealous and things like that mostly. Do you think I helped you out for the two of you to carry on like this? You're really mad, Daisy, aren't you? I'm sorry. To be honest, I hate it when she does things like that as well. As you know, Jasmine has to be the center of attention, doesn't she? She embarrasses me quite often by acting like that, you know. And you've made things really awkward for me, too. With the restaurant, I mean. You've put me in a really difficult position, you know. You know that your restaurant has had more complaints than all of the others put together, don't you? What? Oh, all of that sort of thing gets reported to you, too, does it? Oh, I see. Hey, who do you think you're talking to, anyway? Do you still think that we're husband and wife or something? Well, I know we aren't now, but we were once, weren't we? I really miss those times, you know. Well, that's not my fault now, is it? I wasn't the one who sat with your friend and then left you for them now, was I? That was totally your own doing. You and that stupid cow, Jasmine, anyway. I know. You're being a bit harsh, though, don't you think? Let's not be like this, Daisy. Please. Wow. You and Jasmine really are a match made in heaven, aren't you? How can you both lack common sense so much? And don't say my name. It makes me feel sick. I'd appreciate it if you addressed me properly from now on. Okay, Manager Smith? at this time of night? Why aren't you asleep anyway? You must know that it's rude to call someone at this time of the night without a really good reason, don't you?
Hey! What did you say to Dan? What did you say to make him act like that towards me?
So you fought with the amazing Dan and have now decided to take it out on me, have you? The two of you really are ridiculous, aren't you? Do you really think that that's a good enough reason for you to call at nearly midnight? This is really not on, you know.
Why are you still even contacting my Dan anyway? Does your husband know that you are contacting other people's husbands like this? Especially as he's your ex as well.
Other people's husbands? Well, I guess he isn't mine anymore, is he? You don't know how pleased I am that he isn't, to be honest.
You're only acting like this because you're jealous that Dan's restaurant is doing so well, aren't you? Are you going to use any means you can to get back with him again? Is that it? You think that if you make him mad at me like that he'll come back to you, don't you?
No, I don't want or need Dan. You're welcome to him. To be honest, I'm starting to feel quite grateful to you for taking him off my hands. You'll never know just how grateful I am to you for taking him from me. I'm doing better without him than I ever even dreamt of, you know.
Stop acting so desperate. Don't go contacting my Dan again. Do you understand?
I don't want to contact him either, but unlike you, I know how to keep my private and public life separate.
Private and public life? What are you talking about? Are you saying that you're going to keep on contacting Dan? Is that it?
Hasn't Dan told you anything about any of this?
What is it that he's supposed to have told me anyway? Oh, is it that you have no personality at all?
Excuse me?
That's what Dan told me anyway. He says you have so little personality that you're like a robot.
Oh, you're saying that that's what Dan said about me, are you?
Do you think that that's all he said? I can't bear to say any of the other stuff he told me because I don't want to hurt you that much. Does your husband not care that you're messaging me this time at night? Do you think he doesn't care because he's already gone off you, maybe? Or do you sleep in different rooms?
He's on a business trip, if you must know. What about you? Does Dan know what you're doing right now?
A business trip? I bet that's just an excuse for him to get away from you for a few days.
I told you not to interfere with my family, didn't I? I did warn you to stop as well. I can't put up with your nonsense any longer.
Hey! Where have you gone? Have you run away? Or have you gone to find your runaway husband, maybe?
You better be expecting a call from the head office of your restaurant chain tomorrow morning, okay?
Head office? What are you talking about? How could you possibly know anything about that?
Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me, so I won't bother. Why don't you search for The Crossing on the internet and see who the CEO is?
What are you talking about? Why should I do what you say anyway? Who do you think you are bossing me around like this?
Just search for it, will you? If you still don't understand what's going on after that, I'll call you boss like you wanted me to.
I have no idea what you're going on about. You just wait. I'll call you as soon as I find out.
Hey, I thought you said you'd call once you'd looked up who the CEO is. Where have you gone? Have you left? You'll regret it if you have.
What on earth is all of this?
It's me, of course. I thought you'd got scared and left, didn't I?
Is this for real? Are you really?
Do you understand the situation a bit better now? You see who it is that you're messing around with now, don't you?
I can't believe it. How are you the CEO of our restaurant chain? I thought it was a man anyway.
Yes, the CEO was a man. My man.
What do you mean?
Are you stupid or something? The owner of the chain that you said was so difficult to get into is my man. He's made me the CEO, you see. He's too busy with other things to bother much about it anymore, so he gave the restaurant chain to me. You've read the article, haven't you? It's all explained there.
I can't believe it. How could this even happen? I thought you were working designing flyers or something like that after breaking up with Dan.
Flyers? Oh, yes. I worked in a little printing place after we broke up, didn't I? It was such a tiny little business that I pretty much ran it. I also worked in a popular restaurant waiting and washing up, too.
So, how did you manage to get a man like that to like you?
Managed to get him to like me? Do you think I'm like you?
What do you mean?
You only went after Dan because he wears designer clothes and drives an expensive car. You thought he had money, didn't you? It's a shame he lost everything divorcing me then, isn't it? I chucked him out, leaving him with nothing, as you very well know.
Let's talk truthfully to each other, woman to woman. You went after your new husband for his money, didn't you?
Do you think that I'm a materialistic person like you are?
Well, aren't you? You didn't get with him not knowing what he did for work, did you? How do you expect me to believe that?
I'm only going to tell you this once, so you'd better listen carefully. One day, the manager of the restaurant that I was working at asked me if I could make some leaflets for him, as he was planning on opening a new branch of his restaurant. I've never met such a perfectionist. It was an absolute nightmare trying to get the leaflet the way he wanted. I never met anyone like it. I edited my design over and over again. You see, we went through all of that together, and I guess that's what did it. Spending all that time working together and getting to know each other made us become closer and closer.
I don't believe it. How am I supposed to believe something like that?
I don't care whether you believe me or not, to be honest. I met my husband before he succeeded in his restaurant chain. I didn't meet him because I knew that he was rich like you did, Dan. Do you understand?
Does Dan know all of this then?
Hey, you have a head. Why don't you try using it? Dan tried running that shopping site with you, but it all went wrong, didn't it? How do you think he had the money to open a restaurant like he did?
I don't believe it. Why didn't Dan tell me any of this?
He begged and groveled in front of my husband and me to give him a chance and help him to open a restaurant. If it was you, would you have said anything about it?
He groveled and begged? Dan did? In front of you and your new husband?
Of course. Your amazing, talented man begged my man and I to help him out. He was so pitiful.
Why did he beg you like that? I don't understand. Why?
My husband is famous for being the best at what he does, you see. He's also famous for being really picky, as you already seem to know. If it wasn't for me, you'd never have been able to open your precious restaurant. He only let Dan open the restaurant because I asked him to. He wasn't really up to standard, you see. Anyway, he's such a romantic like that. I don't think even begging and pleading will help this time, though. I don't know what you're going to do now.
What? What are you talking about?
You've seen the article, so you must know this already. But my husband has now started a new venture, you see. So he had no choice but to give the restaurant chain to me.
Okay. What does that mean?
The first job I have as CEO is to close down your restaurant, unfortunately. There are a few reasons, but to be honest, as we expected when the two of you first opened the business, you aren't really cut out for it, I don't think. We're getting more complaints from your restaurant than from all the others put together, and I just don't think it's worth it anymore. I'm really looking forward to closing down your precious restaurant, actually. Especially after what you've been saying to me recently.
Even if you are the new CEO, we have a contract. You can't just do whatever you want like this, surely.
I can as it goes.
You can't do that! It's abuse of power. We have opened our restaurant and we have a contract. If you want to break that, you know that you'll have to pay us compensation, don't you? How can someone like you possibly become CEO? It's ridiculous.
Compensation? You'll be the ones paying our company compensation.
Why would we have to do that?
If the shop owners are adulterers who have destroyed someone else's family, canceling the contract with our company is just the beginning. You have to pay us compensation, too. You could destroy our company's image, you see. Don't you agree? What would you think if you knew that the owners had had an affair and totally destroyed someone else's family? It would make you feel awkward, right? I can't risk the two of you reflecting badly on our company. That's all.
What kind of a rule is that? You're making it up. I won't have it. You can't do that to us.
It doesn't matter if you like it or not. That's the law, you see.
Daisy, please. I'll do anything. What do you want me to do?
Do you really think that there's anything that you can do for me?
Oh, please, Daisy. I'm begging you. We're friends, aren't we?
You both grovel and beg really easily, don't you? You must be used to it or something. I don't need any of it. It won't work. I just want to see both of you out on the streets. That's all.
I'm sorry, Daisy. I really am. Don't break our contract, please. How will I be able to live without any money coming in? I'm not made to be poor. I must have lost my mind there for a while. I'm really sorry about everything I said and did to you. Please, Daisy, don't cancel our contract.
You should have stopped when I gave you that warning before, shouldn't you? I only let Dan open the restaurant to start with because I was fed up with him calling me, begging for me to give him a chance. This is the end of it now. You're out.
You won't really do it, will you? You're messing around and trying to scare me because you're angry about how I've been speaking to you and treating you. That's all this is, isn't it?
You should speak to me properly now, as your boss. You and Dan are the same in that respect. You don't know how to keep your public and private lives separate. Anyway, I don't want to hear any more about any of this. You'll get a call from our lawyers tomorrow. You better start getting the compensation ready and start to get your things out of the restaurant.
Daisy, please don't do this. I really am sorry.
I told you to address me properly, didn't I?
I really don't know what to call you anymore. But please forgive me. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter anyway. You won't have to even contact me again before long, will you?
I'm sorry for everything. Please don't do this to us. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm begging you.
I'm going to go now. We've got the opening of our 200th restaurant next week, so I'm really busy.
Please, answer the phone!
Thanks for watching! If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.